Earlier in the week, Dad, we released a video about the five fixtures coming out, and Wrexham were the one that we both mentioned about being the not the troublesome one, but the one which is in the back of our mind that they could cause us a few
It's
issues.
because of their confidence and the fact
Yeah.
they've been together a while and the momentum they've got. And that goes a long way in football.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And every week since the start of the season, me and Dad thought it'd be just a little bit different, a little bit interesting and a little bit light-hearted and fun, just to do our score predictions for the following week. And we've been keeping a tally of this. And before we enter these recording sessions, we don't talk to each other about the score predictions. We like to keep it as natural and as organic as we can in the room. So I'm going to hand it straight over to Dad for a bit of a recap from last week. Of course, there was an international break and there's only a couple of games on the previous weekend, but it's always good to get a bit of an update on the tally on the score. So, Dad, you want to give us an update on the scores and where we are?
Yeah, so I was, as you know, I was behind a few points, wasn't I? So we were going back now to week 4, which is the last full week before the international break, and I managed to win that 8-5 because I got 2 exact scores on that. I predicted the Birmingham City 2-1 win against Wigan. I also predicted Stevenage 0, Lincoln 1. That gave me 6 points because it's 3 points for an exact score. That meant at the end of that week we were dead level. 21 each. Then, of course, we didn't record it, but we still did our score predictions because there was only 3 fixtures in international break, and we're still level now, 28-28. And in fact, we both had a really good week in terms of exact scores and that. So actually, going into this game week now, we're completely level on scores. 28 points each, so I've pulled it back.
Nice.
So
good
nice for me. Yeah, so I'm going to. So now we're going to go on to this week and go through the various fixtures and see what you think and obviously what I've predicted.
Yeah, should we kick it off then? So, Dad, first fixture from this weekend is Mansfield at home versus Cambridge. What are your thoughts for that game?
Yeah, well, Mansfield have started off fairly well in the league, but they've drawn 2 and lost 1 of their last 3. And Cambridge is struggling, aren't they? In terms of they're near the bottom of the league, they in their sort of last 6 league games, which includes the form from the previous fixtures last season, they've drawn 3 and lost 3, so they're not in any real confidence. I've gone for a home win here. I've gone for Mansfield 2, Cambridge 0.
Okay, so again, we're very close on this one for the reasons you listed, Dad. And I saw Mansfield in the first game of the season against Barnsley. It was the Friday night game. And I thought Mansfield looked pretty good, but they haven't really managed to keep that going. However, I still think at home they're going to be decent this year. I've gone for Mansfield 2, Cambridge 1.
2-1.
2-1.
Okay, so then that brings us on to the next fixture, which is Northampton Town versus Wycombe Wanderers.
We've been doing this for 4 or 5 weeks now. I think Northampton are arguably one of the hardest teams to predict. I think I've got a lot of their fixtures wrong this season. However, I think they are going to be decent at home again. And Wycombe, we saw them on the road a couple of weeks back. They are capable of scoring goals. I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay, just type that into the spreadsheet. I've also gone for a draw as well, but I've gone for 0-0. I think that Wycombe have after they played us, they signed a few players before the end of the transfer window, and they weren't overly impressive against us. But I still think that they're a very decent League One team. But I think on the fact that they're away, I think this will be a stalemate. I've got 0-0.
Okay, interesting. So that brings on to our next game, Dad, and that's Blackpool, at home to Exeter. What are your thoughts on that?
Steve Bruce.
Yep.
He's back in football, back in charge of Blackpool. Blackpool, they had a really, really poor start to the season, which is why they've changed their manager. They've drawn their last 2 league games and then obviously had losses before that. So they're really struggling at the moment. Exeter have done pretty well. Exeter they won their last game, lost the 2 previously. But I still think Exeter do well this season. I think, when you get manager bounce when a new manager comes in, I think that'll happen here as well. And I've gone for a high-scoring game here, 3-2 to Blackpool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be good for the neutral to watch. And exactly the phrase that you've used, Dad, I'm going to use manager bounce, and I've gone for a Blackpool 2-0 win.
2-0.
2-0 win.
Okay, right. Okay, this is another fixture that's sort of really stands out in this game week. Is Bolton Wanderers at home to Huddersfield?
Yes, Huddersfield have got off to the start that I expected them to. They did lose in their last competitive league game to Rotherham, but they did have a man sent off. But they look decent, Huddersfield. They'll definitely be up there. And Bolton a little bit lower in the table than I first anticipated, to be honest. They haven't quite got off to the form I expected them to. But they are the home team. They are going to be good at home this year, but I think it's going to be a stalemate. But I have gone for a score draw. I've gone 1-1.
1-1. So have I. I've gone for
1-1.
1-1. So exactly the same reasons that you've suggested as well. I think Bolton will improve. I think they've had a bit of a stutter, haven't they, at the start of the season, which sometimes happens. But Huddersfield are a good side. I can't really see these being separated on the fact that Bolton are at home. So I've gone for 1-1 as well.
Okay, then, Dad, that brings us on to Bristol Rovers at home to Wigan. What are your thoughts for that game?
Well, I was pretty impressed with Wigan when I saw them at
Same.
St.Andrews. They looked pretty competitive, and I think the only thing that would worry Wigan is the depth of their squad, like a lot of teams. But at the moment, they've still got a good depth of squad in as much as they're going to be the same sorts of players that played us. Bristol Rovers, again at home, I think are going to pick up most of their points, and I've gone for a 2-2 draw here.
Another draw?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have you gone for draws for all of them?
You'll see.
I've actually gone for a Wigan win on this one. Something tells me about them. When we saw them play at St Andrews, they are a decent side. And don't get me wrong, Bristol Rovers are a very solid League One side as well. I've just got a sneaky feeling Bristol Rovers 0, Wigan 1.
0-1, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us on to Crawley Town against Stockport United, 2 promoted teams.
Well, Stockport have got off like a rocket ship, haven't they? I mean, fair play to them. They've really managed to just adjust to League One and keep that momentum going. Crawley as well, fair play to them. They've come up, underdogs, everyone writ them off, and they picked up 2 wins already this season, seem to be doing decently well. So I think, again, they'll be okay at home. However, I think these 2 teams know each other. I think Stockport have too much firepower for Crawley Town, and I think that's going to be Crawley Town 1, Stockport 3.
1-3. I've gone very close to that, actually. I've gone for 1-2. So Crawley 1, Stockport 2. Yeah, like you say, Stockport have got that confidence, haven't they, in terms of they come up, a bit like Wrexham. They come up with momentum. And Crawley did well. They won their first 2 games. They lost the second 2. But I do think that Stockport will edge this. I've only gone by a 1-goal difference, whereas you've gone 2. But I think we both agree that will be a Stockport victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and that brings us on to Peterborough at home to Lincoln City.
This is a bit of a local derby, I believe, and I'm pretty impressed with Lincoln. They sort of have started to climb the table. They've won 3, lost 1 of the first 4, haven't they?
Solid team, Lincoln,
in the league. And Peter, we've said before on previous match predictions that they had a fair turnaround or lost some decent players. I got a sneaking feeling that Lincoln are going to pinch this, so I've gone for Peterborough 0, Lincoln 1.
Oh, okay, nice. And Lincoln just missed out on the playoffs last season as well. Not too far off. So Lincoln are a very good side. However, with the home advantage of Peterborough, I still think they're going to be strong at home this season. I've gone for a Desmond. I've gone for a draw, 2-2.
2-2. Okay. Reading versus Leyton Orient.
Again, Dad, when Reading came to St Andrews, similar to Wigan, I was really surprised with them. And this is going to sound arrogant, I don't mean it to, but people are going to come to St Andrews and they are going to give their best performance, aren't they? Because they're going to know, they're going to want to take that scalp of Birmingham City. It is what it is. But Leyton Orient have been really hit and miss. I've actually been quite impressed with what I've been seeing, but then I've seen the game last weekend or week before, and they were awful. So, I don't know, I got a feeling that slump's going to continue for Leyton Orient. At home, Reading are going to have too much for them. I've gone for a 2-0 Reading win.
So have I.
Yeah.
I've gone 2-0 as well. We've seen both these teams, haven't we? Reading were very impressive at St Andrews. Yes, you're right, Matt. That teams are going to up their game, but they just look organised to me. Leyton Orient weren't bad. They weren't disastrous when we beat them at Leyton Orient. I just think Reading have got a stronger squad.
They're a good team.
Yeah, they're a stronger team. So I agree with you. I think that unfortunately, for Leyton Orient, it will continue. I don't think they've got a point yet this season.
They haven't. They've lost 4 out of 4.
I think there'll be 5 out of 5 after this. So I've gone just like you. Reading 2, Leyton Orient 0.
Yeah. I do think Leyton Orient will pick up points this season. I think they will be okay. I don't actually think they'll get the job. They've had some really difficult games at the start of this season, but I do think Reading will be too strong for them.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there as well. Yeah. Then we come on to Rotherham versus Burton Albion. Yeah,
so Rotherham have looking like they're starting to pick up a bit of form. They beat Huddersfield the week before last, and they got a point away at Charlton last week as well. And I said in the previous video, Dad, Rotherham are similar to Birmingham in terms of they've had a lot of player turnover this year. So they're also in that area of waiting for their team to gel.
Yeah.
Arguably, with those 2 big games, you might argue that they've turned the corner now and they're looking to pick up some points. They're the home team. I think Burton are going to struggle. I've gone for a 2-0 home win, Rotherham.
2-0 to Rotherham?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've gone for a home victory as well. Burton, they're not losing many games. I mean, they've drawn the last 3. I think they lost the first game, so they're not very high in the table. But I just think Rotherham at home, I just think they'll be too strong for Burton. So I've gone for Rotherham 3, Burton 1.
Okay, brilliant. So that brings us on, Dad, to Shrewsbury at home versus Charlton.
Yeah, Shrewsbury haven't started well. I think, a lot of people are predicting these to struggle. They got sort of beaten 3-0 at Wrexham last week, when obviously most of the teams had an international break. From what I saw of that as well, some of the defending by Shrewsbury was really poor as well. Charlton as well. They're not in high-scoring games, Charlton, but they seem, for most games, just to do enough to get over the line, don't they? They've won the first 2, didn't they? Then they've lost and drawn, so they've slumped off a little bit, but I think they'll beat Shrewsbury. But because it's Charlton, I've gone for Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 1.
Okay, you've gone down the theme of the 1-0 win. Fair play. I mean, did you see Nathan Jones after the game before last weekend?
I try my best not to listen to that bloke, if I'm honest.
He was absolutely fuming. He could barely get his words out. You could tell he was so angry. I mean, from a person who doesn't support China, I was laughing so hard. It was absolutely.
I'd love to have been the fourth official between him and Steve Evans, wouldn't you? Wouldn't that be? I know Steve Evans got a yellow card. Yeah. But I'd love to have been in the middle of those two, because that would have been
in the Rotherham post-match conference, I saw Steve Evans couldn't help but have a dig at Nathan Jones. He talked about him losing his head the week before. I was like, oh God, he wants to fight in the car park. He's beating on him. I think this is the only fixture I've changed. So I had my score predictions lined up, and I saw Shrewsbury against Wrexham, and their defending at times was absolutely diabolical. I think this is the time when Charlton are going to break that 1-0, 2-0 curse. I've gone Shrewsbury Town 0, Charlton 3.
Okay, last but one fixture for this game week, Matt, is Stevenage against Barnsley.
I'll keep this one short and sweet. I think Barnsley are going to be too strong for Stevenage. And don't get me wrong, I think Stevenage will be fine this season. I think they will be in the lower part of the league, but they will be okay. And I think Barnsley are going to have too much firepower. I've gone Stevenage 1, Barnsley 2.
1-2.
Yeah, 1-2.
Again, I think this to me comes down to home advantage. Barnsley have improved. They lost against Mansfield, didn't they? And then they've won 3 and drawn 1 of the last 4, because they've played 5 now, because they did play in the international break. So they have improved. But I think Stevenage, they're not a bad League One team, although their current form at the moment is they won their first game, but then they've lost in the league. So they have gone off a bit of form here. But I think this is going to be a draw. Okay. I've gone for 1-1.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
That final fixture, Dad, that brings on to our Birmingham City at home to Wrexham on the Monday evening. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think it's the blockbuster fixture, isn't it? Really, it's the
Hollywood versus Hollywood.
It's Hollywood versus the NFL.
Hollywood versus NFL.
Yeah. We're at home, as in Birmingham City. Wrexham top of the league now. They've started the season exceptionally well. A lot of confidence. I think there'll be goals in this. We've said before, and Birmingham City fans know this as well. We will concede in this game. We will. We'll not keep a clean sheet in this game. So we're going to have to score goals to win this game. I've gone for a 2-2 draw.
Have a guess what I've gone for? I've gone for a 2-2 draw. For borderline the exact reasons you have, Dad. I think we are still vulnerable at the back a little bit while we transition. I think Wrexham are capable of scoring goals. I mean, Wrexham have actually kept 4 clean sheets out of 5 games, so there's no guarantee that they're going to be easy to break down. They play out of possession a bit like John Eustace used to at Birmingham, so we're going to have a lot of the ball again. There's just something about a team that's together, and Wrexham have that momentum. They've come up from League One, League Two, and they've continued. They're a team, as I say, which are really well gelled, really well structured. And I think it's got the makings of a draw on it for me, but goals.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be one of those games, like you've said, under the lights, full house. And I think a team that will want to win the game. Obviously, all teams want to win the game, but they'll be well up for it. But I just can't see us keeping clean sheets at the moment. I think when we play the better teams, it's good, clearly if we concede 1 to win the game, we're going to have to score 2 to get the 3 points. But I think that on the nature of the way that Wrexham score goals, they'll probably get 2. Therefore, that's why I've gone for 2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to, obviously, clearly as a Blues fans, I'd love to see us win this, but there's something in the back of my mind. I think it's going to be a bit of a to and fro game, and that it'll end up as a draw.
Earlier in the week, Dad, we released a video about the 5 fixtures coming out, and Wrexham were the one that we both mentioned about being the not the troublesome one, but the one which is in the back of our mind that they could cause us a few issues.
It's because of their confidence and the fact they've been together a while and the momentum they've got, and that goes a long way in football.
100%.
So yeah, to me, I've gone for 2-2.
Yeah, same here. So that is a conclusion for game week 6. Any further thoughts?
No, just looking forward to getting ahead because I have been
Getting ahead, that's arrogant.
Well, I've been behind, haven't I, for the beginning stage? Yeah, it is arrogant, but I've pulled it back nicely because I think there was about a 4 or 5 point gap going to the early weeks. So let's see what happens this week.
So that's everything from us, but as always, we'd love to hear from you. Maybe you've stumbled across our video for the first time, or maybe you're the support of another League One club and you've heard your club pop up there with our score predictions. But let us know your thoughts. Please drop us a comment section below about some of your score predictions. Do you think we got some right? Do you think we got some slightly wrong? As I said, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And please check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and you can also listen to this in its proper form on Spotify as well. And please don't forget to press that big red subscribe button on YouTube so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next video.